Okay, the instructions are to use the rational roots theorem and then use the factor theorem to figure out if x minus 1/2 is a factor of this thing. So technically, based on what the rational roots theorem says, that means you would plug in positive 1/2 in place of the x's and then work it out. But that seems harder. For some reason, I prefer synthetic division, so I would do this problem with synthetic division. Is that okay if I do it that way? So what I'm saying is you could either do it this way, but then do you know what 1/2 to the 4th power is? It's like 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4 times 1/2 is 1/8 times 1/2 is 1/16. And then 1/2 to the 3rd power, and then anyway, so you can get the answer that way, but I prefer to do it this way. So 1/2 there, and then 2, -1, 0, 2, -1. Why did I put that 0 in there? There's no term with an x squared. Okay, so then synthetic division says I bring down the 2. I go 2 times 1/2, which is 2/2, which equals 1, right? And then what's -1 plus 1? 0. And then 0 times 1/2 is 0. And 0 plus 0 is 0. And 0 times 1/2 is 0. And 2 plus 0 is 2. 2 times 1/2 again is 2/2, which is 1, and -1 plus 1 is 0. So this answer, if you did this just by plugging it in your calculator, it should have also obtained 0, did it? So the answer to this problem is yes. The answer is 0 for the rational roots theorem, and yes for the factor theorem, because you get a 0, it is a factor. Okay, the next problem in question is number 59, which says solve each equation. So 3x cubed plus 4x squared minus 7x plus 2 equals 0, and we are solving this. Okay? So the first thing I would do is the p over q, which would be factors of 2 over factors of 3, which gives us possibilities of 2/3, 2, 1/3, and 1. So that's only 8 possibilities to try using synthetic division with. But if you don't want to try it 8 times, instead you can quickly graph and just check where those x-intercepts are actually going to be. So we plug it in the calculator. 3x cubed plus 4x squared minus 7x plus 2. Graph that. And we can see that it's going through a point that's like -2 point something. Are any of these numbers going to be a -2 point something? No, they're not. So that must be an irrational answer. And then over here we have it touching a point that looks like it could be 3/2. If you're not sure, you can actually go second calculate, and you can tell it to calculate the 0 for you. I know, I should have told you that a long time ago, huh? Okay, so it can actually calculate that 0 for you, and where is it? 0.666666666, which is 2/3. So that means 2/3 should work. So we're going to do synthetic division or the rational roots theorem. If you'd rather just plug it in your calculator and do the rational roots theorem, that also works. So 2/3 with 3, 4, -7, 2. Bring down the 3. 3 times 2/3 is 2, because it's like we're multiplying by 3/1. So So we have 6 over 3, which is 2. So then 4 plus 2 is 6. So then we have 6 times 2 is 12, divided by 3 is 4. And then negative 7 plus 4 is a negative 3. So negative 3 times 2 is a negative 6, divided by 3 is negative 2, which gives us 0 here. So 2/3 is one of the solutions. That leaves us with 3x squared plus 6x minus 3 that we need to finish solving. Now that it's just a quadratic, we can finish solving it by using a method of solving quadratics. Oh, then I guess you have to do synthetic and get those numbers. Sorry. Okay. So synthetic division is required. Sorry, I mentioned the remainder theorem, but no, the remainder theorem would only give you the 0. It wouldn't give you the 3, 6, negative 3. So you really actually do need to do synthetic division. Okay. Then to make this easier to solve, we can actually divide everything by 3 for this particular problem. So then we would have x squared plus 2x minus 1 equals 0. Then we could try to factor it. Does that problem factor? Are there any factors of negative 1 that will add up to a positive 2? I can't think of any. So at that point, we're going to do quadratic formula. So we do negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So since a was just 1, I didn't even bother putting it in there because it doesn't change anything. So that gives me negative 2 plus or minus 4. Is that going to be a positive 4? So plus the square root of 8 divided by 2. How do you simplify the square root of 8? So negative 2 plus or minus 2 square root 2 over 2. So that means everything's divisible by 2. So then we would have negative 1 plus or minus square root of 2. Because the 2 divided into that, we got 1, and the 2 divided into that, and we get 1, but we don't write it. So there's the other 2 answers that happen to be irrational. So there's a rational solution of 2/3. And then there's 2 irrational solutions, negative 1 plus square root of 2 and negative 1 minus square root of 2. Yeah.